In this video, we will study a very instructive master game in which you will learn a very effective game scheme to combat the Stonewall system. The game began with the moves d4, d5. White played knight f3, developing his king's knight. Black played c6, strengthening the defense of the d5 pawn. White played c4, putting pressure on the center and transposing into the Slav defense. Black played e6, strengthening the defense of the d5 pawn. Black wants to establish a very solid position in the center. White played knight c3, developing the queen's knight and increasing the pressure in the center. Black played f5, establishing the Stonewall structure. The Stonewall structure is a very firm pawn structure that is very difficult to break. Black has good control over the e4 square and wants to keep the game closed to prevent any possible attacks from white. The Stonewall structure is a very good opening choice when you want to play for a win with the black pieces. Black fights for space from the beginning and maintains good options to fight for the advantage. The only drawback of this system is that the dark squares are very weak in black's camp, and the bishop on c8 will suffer greatly and have great difficulty entering the game. Now, white played bishop f4, developing his queen's bishop into a good diagonal. White's plan is to continue with e3, to allow his bishop to remain active outside the pawn chain. Then, he can continue with moves like bishop d3, queen c2, to fight for control of the e4 square. Finally, he can prepare the kingside pawn assault with h3 and g4 to open the game and attack in this area. Black played knight f6, developing his king's knight. White played e3, connecting his pawns and allowing the development of his king's bishop. Black played knight b to d7, developing his queen's knight. White played bishop d3, developing his king's bishop and increasing his control over the e4 square. Black played knight e4, occupying a strong central position with his knight. White played knight e5, invading along the weak squares in the enemy camp with his knight and occupying a strong central position. At the same time, white threatens to give check with his queen on the h5 square. For example, it would now be a mistake to play g5, attacking the opponent's bishop, because white plays queen h5, check, and has an advantage. After king e7, white plays queen f7, check, and white obtains a decisive attack. After king d6, white plays knight takes c6, diving a discovered check with the bishop. After king takes c6, white plays queen takes e6, check. And after bishop d6, white plays queen takes d5, check. And after king c7, then knight b5, check, and the black king won't be able to resist many more moves. After the move knight e5, black can try to eliminate white's knight with knight takes e5, but white responds with bishop takes e5 and has absolute control of the board and is much better off. In the game, after the move knight e5, black played knight d to f6, strengthening the defense of the e4 square and taking control of the h5 square to prevent the white queen from giving check from that square. White played bishop takes e4, eliminating black's knight from the center. Now it's not possible to recapture with the knight, since after knight takes e4, white plays knight takes e4, eliminating black's knight from the center. And after, for example, f takes e4, white plays queen h5, check, and is winning. King e7 is not possible, because white plays queen f7, check. And after king d6, c5 is checkmate. So after queen h5, check, black has to defend with g6. But white plays knight takes g6, taking advantage of the pin along the h-file, and is winning. In the game, after the move bishop takes e4, black played d takes e4, recapturing with the pawn, to keep the knight and prevent the white queen from giving check from the h5 square. White played g4, beginning to advance his kingside pawns, with the idea of opening the game and attacking in this area. If black now plays knight takes g4, white can play knight takes g4. After f takes g4, white plays queen takes g4. Black's pawns have become very weak, and white has an advantage. For example, Now e5, attacking the queen and bishop, is not possible because white can play queen h5, check. Then they capture the e5 pawn, and white wins. In the game, after the move g4, black played g6, strengthening the defense of the f5 pawn. White played h5, continuing to advance his kingside pawns. The immediate threat is h5, to completely destroy the opponent's pawn chain. Black played rook g8, trying to defend. White played f3, increasing the pressure on the opponent's pawn chain. Black's pawn center will be dynamited, and the black king will not be able to find a safe haven once the game opens. Black played e takes f3. White responded with the queen takes f3, regaining the pawn and preparing to castle longside. Black played knight takes g4, attempting to relieve the pressure. White played knight takes g4, eliminating the opponent's knight, with the aim of weakening the opponent's pawn structure. The game continued with f takes g4. Now it would be a mistake to play queen takes g4, as black would play e5 and win, because the queen and bishop are attacked at the same time and black would have a material advantage. In the game, after the move f takes g4, white played queen g3 to defend his queen and avoid falling into the trap. Black played queen b6, activating the queen and threatening to capture the b2 pawn. White castled kingside to safely place his king and connect the rooks. Now it is not possible to capture the b2 pawn with the queen, since white plays knight e4 defending the knight and threatening to jump to the f6 square. After, for example, bishop e7, to prevent white's knight from reaching the f6 square, white can play bishop g5, with the idea of exchanging the dark squared bishops and permanently weakening the dark squares in the opponent's camp. White also threatens to invade with his queen through the c7 square and is winning. After, for example, queen b6, to try to defend with the queen and prevent the white queen from invading through the c7 square, white can play bishop takes e7, eliminating a good defender of the opposing king. After king takes e7, white plays queen d6, check, and the black king will be checkmated. After king e8, white plays knight f6, check. After king f7, white plays knight h5, check. After king e8, white plays knight g7, check. And after rook takes g7, white plays rook f8, checkmate. In the game, after white castled, black played bishop e7. White played bishop g5, intending to exchange the dark squared bishops. The game continued bishop takes g5. H takes g5. Black played bishop d7, intending to castle queenside and try to keep his king safe. White played c5, gaining space on the queenside and attacking the opponent's queen. Now, it's not good for queen to take b2, because white plays knight e4, defending the knight and threatening to invade through the weak squares in the opponent's camp. White has a winning attack. For example, it's not possible to castle queenside, since white plays knight d6, check, and wins. Since after king c7 or king b8, white plays knight b5, discover check. Now, of course, king c8 is not possible because white plays queen c7, checkmate. So, after the move knight b5, check, black has to play king a8. But white plays knight c7, check. After king b8, white plays knight a6, double check with the knight and queen. And the black king receives checkmate, since after king a8, white plays queen b8, check. And after rook takes b8, white plays knight c7, checkmate. In the game, after the move c5, black played queen a5 to defend his queen. White played b4, and black resigned. It is not possible to capture the pawn with queen takes b4, since white plays knight e4, and the black king will not be able to avoid mate. And if after the move b4, black plays queen d8, white still plays knight e4 and has a winning attack. For example, if black plays rook to f8, white can play knight d6, check. And after king e7, white plays queen e5, and mate is inevitable. A very instructive game. Now that you have learned a very simple system for fighting against the Stonewall system, there is one more video you should watch, but hardly anyone will tell you about it. Click on the following video to complete your training. See you in the next video.